Hi guys, welcome back to another part of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins. Got another homemade Rice Krispie treat. Now let's ask her about Darkspawn.
Chantry Law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinter Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking,
Some water.
they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin, and it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Know any stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
Go ahead. Or, honestly, that sounds interesting.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods.
That's a little bit of an
Before the court
overreaction.
could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
I saw that coming.
Many legends have familiar forms and themes. We enjoy them so because we know them. Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the Grand Tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the Grand Tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
Go on.
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the
You can
Imperial
stop
crowd.
listening to the story
Eventually,
at
she
any
came
time
face
she
to face
pauses.
with the knight Kaleva
but I'm not
in the
doing
Grand
that.
Melee. Aveline had already bested him in the jousts, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as
I
he
saw
did
that
so.
coming too.
Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
I was hoping for a happy
The
ending.
son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present.
She really just
He
goes on
recognized
regardless of
Aveline's
what you
skill
say.
and bravery, and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
There was another story I wanted to hear. What do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker
I
had
better
long
be getting
since
approval for
abandoned the
this.
world
I
when the
think you
sound of
do.
her singing
But if I'm
turned his
not.
ear. Beauty,
Also, what's up with her
grace,
necklace?
and
It looks
wisdom
like a choker
enraptured
that's
him,
too big for
and
her.
he offered to take
Because
her
it's
from
not
the
around her
small
neck,
world
but it
to
looks like a
become his
choker.
divine bride. But Andraste
Well,
had
I mean,
an
it is around her
earthly
neck, but it's not like
husband and would
gripping
not
it tightly
forsake him.
like chokers are supposed to.
Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
How did Andraste die?
Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, the chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hessarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burnt at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter.
But Tevinter has a chantry, doesn't it?
Claims that in Andraste's last moments, Hessarian's heart softened, and he heard the voice of the Maker telling him to end her suffering. He plunged his sword into her heart, and as her blood washed over his hands, he became one of the faithful. Dissenters said that the Archon only converted because he could not stem the tide of Andraste's cult, and was forced to do so to stay in power. We will never know for sure.
Do you know anything about the Dalish?
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future.
Sorry, I'm not
where the
talking
elves
much. I
were
just
free.
don't really have much to
Shatan was
say.
killed
Like I
when
said, these
Andraste was
parts
betrayed.
are gonna be so
The
boring.
elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium.
I'm just trying to get like all of the dialogue pretty much out of the way now, so we won't have to deal with it as much. When later times when we come back to camp and talk to people, because they'll still have some new stuff to say, but just not as much.
This angered the Chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The Chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The Chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
Let's just move on. Oh, I can't click on that. Okay, let's see what her approval is. Shouldn't she be getting the... Yeah, she's plus 30 warm now. Doesn't she have a...
Have I ever told you I really
Here we
like
go.
the way you wear your hair?
My hair? My hair, thank you.
It's very nice, and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved
I might have
flowers,
to
ribbons,
split this
jewels.
conversation up between the
One year,
videos.
feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels.
Poor birds. Poor Lady Elise, I'll say that.
Yes, you can imagine what she looked like by the end of the evening. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you. Like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me.
Wouldn't I? Maybe I'd just keep it to myself. Aha!
You see? You play along with me. Not many will do that. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company.
And do you often enjoy the company of other women?
And what would you do if I said I do? Very much so, in fact.
Wait, what? I think I might giggle, maybe look coy.
Huh? You must do that then. Perhaps later when I'm not prepared for it. Surprise me. Come then, let's get going. If I recall correctly, you have some important earth-shattering business to attend to.
Well, that was interesting. Anyway, we're pretty much out of time for this part, so in the next part, we will keep fucking talking to people. Bye.